So, welcome to the second episode of Morning Coffee with me, Professor Alex. Now, it's only the second show. So, if you're looking at me and you're saying, why is this guy in a robe? Well, again, it's morning coffee. I posted yesterday in my first video, I explained that there's just so many things that I want to talk about, but I don't have the time to be making full videos, making blogs about it. And there was some things that just escape, let's say, the media. And I wanted to talk about it, but where do I fit it in time? So I said, well, I think, with my morning coffee. But when you're 52 years old habits die hard, and I'm not about to jump out of my robe to start drinking coffee because this is how I drink my coffee. So you guys are stuck with me looking like this, all right? So I'm sorry. There's other videos where I actually look, I'm wearing a normal shirt, not a bathrobe, all right? But first, good morning to you. Now there is coffee in here for real. I don't know if you can see it there, but there is coffee. It is my first cup of the day, Sunday. Sometimes there's two cups. Now, there's a lot to talk about what's happened over the last 48 hours, so much so that I had to write this down. But there's one particular thing I want to focus on. And first, if you've been paying attention, you see that Trump released the water. It was like this big, people on social media were making fun of it like there was a faucet you would just turn. And he has released water to the reservoirs in California through the Army Corps of Engineers. The problem is you're supposed to coordinate with state and local officials because that water is supposed to be used for farmers, which supposedly the water is going to evaporate by the time summer comes around. So this is part of the chaos and shows that he's trying to now meddle into the business of states, which is going to create bigger problems. But there's that issue. We have the tariffs, right? There's endless blogs I've done about that in videos that the tariffs were coming. Are you prepared for the tariffs? Please make sure to review those because you see how it starts to affect you one way or another, whether directly or indirectly. It seems the tariffs with Canada is 25%, Mexico and China is 10%. Why is there a tariff of 25% on Canada? Your guess is as good as mine. Nobody has any idea. I will say that the a lot of the lumber that's used for housing up in the northern part of the United States comes from Canada. So housing just got more expensive. Now, I haven't confirmed it, so I'm just going to lay this out there anyway, but it wouldn't surprise me. Supposedly, Canada is now taxing just the Republican states. So keep that in mind. More chaos. This is what happens. Now, we have that. We have the DEI issues that we know about that's been going on for a while. Certain things, getting rid of Black History Month, basically, not getting rid of it, but basically not paying attention. Like it's not there, the elephant in the room. Apparently, that's going to be the new thing now. No DEI, including something like Black History Month. We have LGBTQ. I think there's a whole month of it, right? Pride Month. Yeah, Pride Month, a whole month on that. So I'm not sure what month, but silliness. But this is all part of the chaos. Now, there was a plane crash. The National Transportation and Safety Board had gotten emails, I think, 48 hours before that, saying that they had to either resign or take out the buyout package, like 400 people. The officials were scrambling, trying to tell their people the executive branch has no control over us. We don't listen to them, and yet this is part of the chaos. Now you can look into it. Elon Musk wanted to get rid of the head of the NTSB just because he had fined him supposedly $600,000. So again, chaos. But I'm going to focus on one particular thing now. Before I get there was no Walmart. There was no eggs at Walmart yesterday. Most of the gas stations I went to had were limited on gas. Just a few pumps were open, and it was only 88.7 octane that was available. And where I play golf, they increased the dues 5%. As far as I'm concerned, this is all related somehow to all the insanity that we're going through. All right. So if you hear that noise, that's because my cat decided now's the perfect time to do her business. Now, here's what I really wanted to focus on. There is an actual lawsuit by President Trump against CBS because of the interview that Kamala Harris had with CBS, saying that the interview was edited. Now, all interviews are edited. They might interview someone for 20, 30 minutes, an hour, and that's not all going to fit in the show. Sometimes now, because of streaming, they say go here, you can see the full interview. but there's always going to be editing. You can tell that there's editing. You can tell that they're asking a question and they jump to the next question, and that was edited. But they do that because of time. There's really no issue. So supposedly, this, for some reason, made him look bad. Now, I talked about this yesterday, that one of the lawsuits, not even a lawsuit, it's the executive order that Trump had signed, was based on a non existent legal theory that President Biden was making him look bad on purpose. Now, my comparison was simple. Every time you replace someone at a job, part of your new role is make that person that got fired bad. That's why they hired you, because they think you can do a better job, and you have to prove it by making the other person look bad. So all these collective bargaining agreements, with federal employees, are now off the table 30 days before the inauguration. Think about that. 30 days before. He wasn't president. What authority does he have? He has none. But this is part of the chaos that he creates. So he's taken this a step further now by being a legal bully, which he's been his whole life. He has thousands of lawsuits. I'm sure that number has been multiplied by 10 since he entered office back in 2016. But the issue is, it's a $10 billion lawsuit because they edited the tape. Okay. I don't understand the issue. They have creative control. They can do whatever they want with those tapes. They could even decide not to even publish the interview. They could just, we decided not to do it. They could do that. They can put one of those fuzzy faces if they want. It's their, they own the rights to that. So here's this lawsuit where he's trying to show that somehow this was edited. No one's denying this. But so what if it was? See, what are the damages? See, when there's a lawsuit, there has to be damages, has to be an injury. If you slip and fall in Walmart, it's simple, right? I hurt my hip. I want to sue. I want doctors, my medical bills paid off. All that makes sense. Defamation of character makes sense as well. Defamation of character with someone, two public figures, forget that. We'll leave that for another show. But so what? So what, it was edited. He won. What are the damages? What is the injury to him? He won. But I think I'll tie this into the fact that now he's taken out credible reporting agencies like NBC has been pulled out of the, I don't want to say it's the press corridor, I think is what they call it. And has been replaced with Breitbart, and is it OANN? And those are ones now that are going to be part of the press corps in Washington. Think about that. Now, listening to all this, and this is just the last 48 hours. You can imagine what the next 4 years are going to be like, right? I forgot to mention Guantanamo, putting the Guatemalan immigrants in Guantanamo now. He's deporting Cubans. I'm Cuban, born and raised in Miami, two Cuban parents. Marco Rubio's Cuban. I can't believe this is going to be good for him politically. But it is what it is. So my question to you is, how do you feel? This has been rough, right? It's been rough. He's been in office, what, 2 weeks? And this is what we're dealing with? Well, tomorrow it's 2 weeks. What are the next 4 years going to be like if this is what we're facing already? It's only going to get worse. Now, I'm not saying that to scare you, although it sounds that way, but you're going to have to take some time off for yourself. When I started practicing law, I made it a point. I saw the changes physically in a lot of lawyers. A lot either gained weight, lost weight. Some started smoking, then smoking too much, drinking too much. I saw a lot of that, and I said, I can just lose myself in all this. So I'm gonna have to work just as hard at relaxing as I am at working, and I did strike that balance. Whatever it is, if it was a trip to Home Depot to make something, cut some wood, and I'm still like that today. Okay, I'm 52 years old. I'll be 53 by the end of the month. I work just as hard to relax. When I play golf now, I walk the golf course. I don't take the cart anymore. It's just me continuing to add, saying, I need to take a deep breath and relax, and so do you. Now, it doesn't mean you go blind to all this. You have to be informed, because I keep saying, and I'm going to say it again, chaos creates political instability. Political instability creates financial instability. Hold on, I need more coffee here. We are in times that we're not used to. Some of it might seem like it's overblown. I can't remember the person's name or title in Canada, and it was a long post on social media saying we might be seeing the end of the U.S. empire. It might be kind of hard to believe this. We have those five stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And we're probably all still at the denial stage and anger stage, right? And then bargaining is always like, well, give them a break. Give them a break. We'll see. Maybe things will turn around. We've only got two more stages left, right? And I think a lot of us have already gone through the three stages. So just keep that in mind. You can tune out, all right, but don't be blind as to what's going on. And I'm not saying this because I want you to learn more about politics. I want you to learn more about finances. You have to tie in together how all this is going to affect you, because it will. The tariff is the perfect proof. Everyone is saying these tariffs are a tax except one person: President Donald J. Trump. Now, since he's not the most credible person in the world, then ask yourself, everybody is wrong and he's the only one that's right? I know he has a history of saying that, right? I'm the only one that can fix it. Didn't fix anything. Mexico still hasn't paid for that wall. And whatever crazy theories he has, and the legal bullying that he's doing with these beyond, it's not even frivolous, it's ridiculous lawsuits. Suing CBS just because a tape was edited. So what? It's protected under the First Amendment. But these are the little things, little by little, where they start to strip away at our rights. And if we're busy doing something else or not paying attention, then before you know it, one way it will affect you. And again, I'm not talking about your rights driving down the street and they might pull you over, especially if you're an immigrant and they're profiling. I'm focusing on the financial. All this has a financial effect. That ridiculous lawsuit has a financial effect. Someone has to pay for that lawsuit. Of course, it's supporters, right? Unless he's using the DOJ, which I'm not sure. But then those DOJ government lawyers could be busy doing something else. Now, the courthouse is not staffed by robots. Maybe it should be. Maybe now's a good time that AI is in there, because someone has to, deal with all this paperwork. Someone has to be at the court. And all this case does is delay other more important cases to come in. It all has an effect. It's why I keep saying the snowball effect. And at the end of the day, all those employees at the government courthouse, they're paid for by taxpayer dollars. So one way or another, we are going to be affected. But you have to take a deep breath. Okay. You have to go out. You have to have fun. I know things are tough. I've taught, I've been teaching since 2012. Started teaching full time maybe like 3 years ago. Um, I have a lot of students from Latin American countries, especially when I was teaching in Miami, and even more so now. They have faced, tough political times and everything, but they have to move forward. If they're young, they're going to the clubs. If they're older, they're working, spending time with their family, cookouts, whatever it might be. You have to do the same thing. All right. You know your tribe, you know who you hang out with, you know who's not going to stress you out over these things, because it's just certain people that are going to want to talk about this the whole time, and they're not on the same side as you. I'm not saying, you know, we shouldn't talk to these people, associate with these people. These are decisions you make. But ultimately, if it's a toxic environment, it is a toxic environment. And you don't need to put yourself through that voluntarily, because, again, you have to take a deep breath. Okay. Be informed, but take a deep breath. Have fun. Today is Sunday, right? Tomorrow I'll publish something else. I'll figure out what to write tomorrow, talk about tomorrow. But take some time out today for yourself. You should take time out for yourself all the time. I don't care if it's just 5 minutes a day. You've earned it. You deserve it. And it's going to be harder and harder to push through those 5 minutes today, especially when I'm reading about these ridiculous lawsuits, and how it's obviously going after the press, the enemy of the people and all that garbage. But all that garbage affects you, and it will affect your pocket somehow, some way. All right. So I am almost out of my coffee. So you're free to go get more coffee, but I am done for now. I will be publishing a blog post later today, but that's going to focus on Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Whoever wants to go out there and check out my blog, bankruptcy.blog. Remember, I talk about everything related to finances, the economy, the Trump economy, and especially bankruptcy. All right. So, any questions, like always, feel free to post comments. More importantly, take a break. All right. All these insanity lawsuits are coming in. We see all these different, the DEI getting rid of Black History Month. Okay, let me rephrase that. They're not getting rid of it. It just doesn't exist. All right. So some things you have to take with a grain of salt. Others might impact you more directly. And like always, be prepared financially, because no one's going to convince me otherwise that chaos doesn't create political instability. It does. And ultimately, it creates financial instability. All right. Take care and enjoy that cup of coffee. I'll see you tomorrow morning.